And I was always interested in the work of Leonardo da Vinci. And what I feel was missing in the work of Leonardo da Vinci was the people he talked to, which they never cover. I'm sure that da Vinci did not come up with all those ideas. He must have conversed with other people that had similar interest. You know, talked of the corkscrew and the falling maple leaf gyrating down to the ground. I believe that many people influenced Leonardo da Vinci. No one comes off alone and develops a whole set of ideas, as most people think that somehow through the ether these ideas flow into your head. They don't. If you're born blind and deaf, there's no development in those regions of the brain. So the only way information gets to the brain is through your sense of smell, touch, taste, tactile, teletactile. If you're born blind, you feel the scissors and you remember the tactical receptivity. This is how you retain it. So when a blind man dreams, they usually move in the fingers. And so if you're aware of that, it increases your range of application and understanding. That's why people who use the word conscious, I'm conscious, you can't be, because you can only be conscious of the limited exposure that you've had.
Let's go back to perception.
Well, just walking around when I was a kid, I noticed that there were trolley cars with little platforms on the side. And if people were late for work, you see the seats ran all the way through the trolley car. There was no aisle in it. So you got on the platform and got on the seat, and those people that were late would climb on the platform and hang on. And they always had these 15 or 20 people on each side of the trolley car, and some were hit by automobiles. So they put up a sign, please, when entering the trolley, do not remain on the platform. Get in or off. That went on for 10 years. People were hit by cars. They finally took the problem to an engineering company and said, how can we keep the people off the platform? Well, they retracted it. And that was the end of that problem. In other words, putting up signs, be careful, drive carefully, school zone, children crossing, all a waste of time. Because what you really need in a school zone is a power output that's 15 miles an hour, so that you can't violate anything. Elevators don't suddenly travel at 50 miles an hour upward. They are programmed to travel at a given speed. People don't understand the tremendous advantages of technology if used intelligently. If we use the same kind of intelligence that we use in military development, we could have solved many social problems years ago. We don't, because of the separate disciplines of science
So,
and other people.
so what are the qualities of human beings that you appreciate the most?
The fact that they can learn many new things, if given a chance, if given the opportunity and the environment to do so. Other than that, human beings are extremely flexible. They can be conditioned to pull a string and release tons of nerve gas and then sleep well that night because they were told they were the enemy. It's amazing how simple their associative system is. People say, you know, they think they had a conscience, the guys that turned the gas chambers on. They had no conscience, didn't bother them at all. And not at all. The guy that didn't sleep well was the humanist, troubled by all this. See, the humanist doesn't understand that a human being can be conditioned to cut up people, torture them, do anything without feeling any kind of pain at all. In fact, waiting for the next events. Nobody out there is to be blamed for their behavior, is what I'm trying to say. There'll be no prisons, no police, no government. As long as you've got government, you're going to have the basis of corruption. You're going to have high-tech installations which are capable of decision-making and restoring the damaged earth that we've built, all the pollutions and poisons we put into the oceans, all that can be cleaned up by science and technology. We still can do that. But to blame people for what they are is a system that was used to try to keep people in line. So they were forced into that crap. Banking institution is one of the most corrupt in the world. They can lend out much more money than they have in reserve. So, in other words, somebody said to me,
money's based on debt. this point.
Yes. People said to me, "Well, what are you going to do with the criminals?" I said, "Go into town and buy a box of oatmeal, and you'll find the oatmeal is way down in the box. That isn't enough." What do you mean by criminal? When do you call a man a criminal? When a psychiatrist pledges that he wants to help people, and a man comes to a psychiatrist and says, "I'm in debt, I can't pay my bills, I'm on minimum wage, my car broke down, I got 2 kids." The psychiatrist is going to cost you $60 an hour. How can you be a psychiatrist? How can you cater to human need in a monetary system? When a doctor tells you, "I think your kidney has to come out," how do you know that? How do you know he's not trying to pay off a new cabin cruiser? You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
So I don't feel good in a nation where people say sign on the bottom. That means they don't trust each other. That's what a contract is. If that's what you say, put it on paper. I mean, they don't trust each other. Now, lawyers are called mouthpieces. They're designed to find ways around the legal system. And through verbal technology, they can sometimes turn a jury around. The system is no good. You can't do that. See, if engineers design a bridge and it collapses, they can't say it was due to the former government group that was in power before us. They can't say it just let go. They have to account for that. But in politics, you can blame former administration. You can do anything you want to do. It's just not a valid system. It isn't that I'm against politics. It just doesn't work. It's very offensive, and it's something we could have surpassed years ago. The old
So what's the replacement for politics?
computers, artificial intelligence, connected to industry, resources, and everything else, so that when you look at your globe at home, you will know the condition of the earth, its resources, its population, its reservations in water, drinkable water, non-available resources, deep buried resources in the earth. You will have all that information. In some tribes where men are deprived of the opposite sex, for whatever reasons, a sex drive that's quite different, that the individual doesn't know how to relate to women and cannot have sex experience, for whatever reasons, that distortion in behavior is manifest by either damaged physical equipment or the inability to perform sexually, may in turn produce aberrant behavior. So the aberrant behavior should not be put in prison. They should not be punished. If people do that naturally, if they have no other way of behaving, it means that they're products of nature. Whatever they've been subject to that make them child molesters, serial killers, whatever they are, we've got to remove those conditions that generate that kind of behavior. And if you don't know what those conditions are, you have no right putting a person in jail, tormenting them. Do you understand?